Block your ears for a second. I'm just gonna clap.
Okay.
There we go. That should
I
work.
didn't even hear it. It like broke the sound barrier.
Oh, great. Well, you know, I'm pretty strong, Grace. So, you know,
Yeah.
my claps can kind of break the sound barrier sometimes.
Yeah,
Not a
honestly,
big
my
deal,
window was shaking. It was like,
but all the way in Texas. I like that.
yeah, no, really.
I'll take it. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, Grace, how do you say your last name properly? I don't want to mess it up.
Charis.
Charis. Okay, so I would have messed it up. I was about to say Charis. So
Yeah,
Grace
yeah.
Charis. Here today, we're going to be chatting all things content, YouTube, golf, and just you. I'm excited to kind of dissect a bit more about you as a person, because at least in my searching, I didn't really find any interviews with you on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think there's many YouTube or many like interviews in general. I did
Yeah.
one yesterday with the Chive.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's going to be on YouTube. I think it's just like on their website or something. So
Your first ever YouTube interview, then.
yeah,
I'm
pretty much.
honored.
You're
I'm
first,
honored.
so
Thank
sweet.
you. That's awesome. So I mean, I think like a lot of people though, because of that, myself included, I don't know a ton about like your background, your kind of how you got into the space, and so I want to kind of go through it all.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on the channel today. Let's just maybe jump into just a little background of like you growing up, where you grew up, how you kind of got into golf, sports in general, background, like just a little bit of
Yeah.
who you are.
No, for sure. I mean, I grew up in California, Southern California. Did not play golf growing up. Didn't even know it was a sport. Like it was completely out of my world. I did ballet for a while growing up. I did horseback riding. And then I went to college. I did some rowing, which is so not me. But it was like kind of during COVID. And so when COVID hit, like we all got let out. And I think after a year or so of COVID, I was like, oh, I got to pick up some kind of sport because I just want to go outside. So golf was kind of that sport I picked up, and then I just continued playing it, and I really liked it. And I just started posting content with it, and it did well. So, I mean, I was like, all right, this is I guess my niche. So I'm stuck with it, but I do love it. So, any sports, I do love sports in general, but like golf is awesome. I still love ballet. I wish I could have continued it, but it was just like it just wasn't right for me and what I want in life. So now I'm with golf. I'm stuck here.
Totally. What was that transition like? Because I feel like there's people who'd be like, oh, ballet would be great because you'd be so flexible. But I almost feel like you might be like too flexible at the beginning for golf, where it's like hard to stay in position, I would guess.
Yeah, like one of my things in golf is that like just building enough strength, because like the flexibility, like you're saying, is like it is a good thing for sure when you try to like get in your backswing. But I think a lot of times it's like you like I'm disconnected because I'm too flexible, and I'm used to like using that instead of like my whole body is like the unit. So kind of the same corrections I had in ballet are in golf too. Like my coach is like, engage the left glute. Like that's just something like a habit. I just don't engage the left glute or something. I don't know, but like they're very similar in a lot of ways. Like because it's like hitting the right shapes and tempo and getting the right timing is like similar in both sports. So I think having a background in ballet has helped me like get better at golf. But I mean, you still got to grind and stuff. So and then learn it obviously. But yeah.
Totally. Is that a surfboard behind you? Do you surf?
I do surf. Yeah, that is a surfboard.
Ooh,
it's my
nice.
Stewart surfboard, 9.6. It is in Texas, so I don't use it at all. But
Yeah.
when I lived in California, I surfed a lot, so it was fun. But
What prompted the move to Texas?
I think just like it's cheaper to live out here, and so and then you can get a big house and stuff. So I was like, and then I had some friends out here too, and they're like, oh, it's really nice. Like, because I was like, I really want to leave California. There's a lot of traffic. And just like everything's expensive, and I was just like, it's not really. 3 years ago when I moved out here, I was like, I gotta leave. So yeah, and I'm glad I found this spot though, because there's a lot of actually golf influencers out here, and it's just like I love it out here. So I'm happy I sent it.
Totally. Yeah, my wife and I, when we were looking for our first place up in Canada, we kept getting TikToks of like, move to Texas, look what you can get in Texas. And it was like recommended videos of these like mansions for like less than we paid for our condo. It's like
I know, it's insane. Everything's bigger in Texas. Like that's not even that's facts, literally. Drink sizes, like you go and get like a large drink's like this big, and then like a Walmart, massive. Never been to a bigger Walmart in my life. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. Like even just like every road is like 3 lanes. Like it's like all a nice grid system.
Everyone goes 90 miles an hour. I'm like, can everyone slow down? Like my car can't speed up that fast.
Yeah.
But
That's so funny. So when you first started posting content, was it golf content, or were you doing any kind of content before golf?
I was doing like surf bikini content. Like it was just,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get like banned and deleted because it was like showing too much skin. It wasn't even like
Mm,
gnarly. It was just like, I know the algorithm did not like me when I started. Um,
right.
so I was like, okay, we need to find something that has more clothes and still
Mhm.
like something I like to do. So surfing
Yeah.
kind of got pushed out and it just golf took its place because it did well and it stayed up and it didn't
Yeah.
get deleted. So I was like, all right, this is where I'm stuck now. But I mean, I still love to surf, but it's just not very often.
Yeah, totally. Was
Yeah.
that something that like happened on purpose or by accident? Like the content and realizing that like, oh, if I post for
Yeah.
like you said, surf bikini content or like golf content in this way, like, oh, it gets way more. And like, was it like you fell into it, or did you know kind of what you were doing when you started posting it?
I think I knew what I was doing. Like I was testing it out. I was like,
Hmm.
let's try. Like let's just post a couple golf things because I was golfing at the time. Like I just like jumped
Hmm.
into it, and I was like, oh, let me post something because no one else is really doing it. So I was like, all right, I can do this. So I'd post a
Yeah.
couple swings, but I look back on like the very first couple swings I did a couple years ago. I was like, that was so bad. Like I can't watch it. I can't watch any of the old stuff. I'm like embarrassed. But
What was the traction like with the golf stuff compared to the surf stuff? Like it was enough to make you switch, but was it like a noticeable? Because I feel like golf probably
yeah.
has a bigger audience than surf, I would assume.
Yeah, no, definitely it does. Like there's more people that golf than surf in general, but um I think the surf videos would just never do or like just any kind of bikini stuff would just do average and then I posted
Mhm.
like one golf TikTok 10 million views. I was like, "All right, like I'm stuck."
Here we
Maybe
go.
like the first one I had to find it, but it was just like some me in a jumpsuit swinging a club.
Yeah,
It did really well, so I was like, "Okay, this is cool."
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we were talking before we started recording about how like my first video on this channel was kind of like that. Like I just like
Yeah.
posted it and got a bunch of views, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is what we're doing. So
Yeah, you let the
that
algorithm like take you places. Like you don't try and
totally.
force it into something unless you really want to do the one thing. But I
Yeah.
wasn't super committed on like surfing or doing that anything. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know much about as much about short form and the algorithms on Instagram, TikTok, but on YouTube specifically, it's like the algorithm is just the audience. Like there is no algorithm. Like if you post content people are
yeah,
interested in and want to
yeah,
watch, it's going to do well.
no,
And
exactly.
so I always try to tell creators that it's just like just make something that people genuinely want to watch. You know?
Yeah, I think YouTube's different. Like I started on TikTok pretty much, and that just they push certain styles of content and it really depends like where you're located. Like I feel like I had a huge fan base in California, and then I moved to Texas, and now it's like mostly Texas people. Um, but like every platform has its little like quirks into it. So I'm learning YouTube. I've gotten better at it, but like short form, you just post a lot, and it something will take off eventually. So yeah,
Totally. I want to actually ask about that because you just mentioned
yeah,
the more local audiences, like living in Texas, having Texas fans. One of the questions I got on my Instagram when I posted that I was chatting with you was like, what is it like for you meeting fans IRL? Like, is it like a
hmm
weird experience? Is it a good experience? Like any stories? Like, I feel like it's got to be, we all get it in different
yeah.
levels, but I feel like obviously it might be a little different in your world.
I mean, everyone's been super nice when they come. Some people are nervous. Some people are just super
Yeah,
excited to take a photo. I haven't had anything super weird, like someone
that's good.
like maybe I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing been weird, and if anything, like you just like move away, like you just ignore them if
Hmm.
you be weird about it. But everyone's super nice. Ask for a photo. I'm open to talk to people. So like sometimes I'll be chatting and then they just walk away. I'm like, all right, bye. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely love when people come up to me and ask me stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. I definitely think it's, you see all the other golf creators and stuff with the same level of recognition, but you have like more followers than like pretty much every like golf creator, at least on social. Have you ever noticed like a difference when you're hanging out with like a Garrett or whatever of like, I know this is like I don't mean this to be like an egotistical question for you, but like, are you getting recognized more than like the average golf creator? I feel like you probably reach beyond YouTube golf a lot more than a lot of us do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different. Like when I hang out with Steve and stuff golfing, like he gets a lot of the people that love golf like are obsessed with them and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's like my audience is not necessarily just golf fans. Like it's just
Right.
like a big group of kind of like almost just like a TikTok base or like a bunch of random people. Like everyone can like know me and you don't have to be into golf. So I think it's a different like style of fans. Like, I don't know. So it's not necessarily golf. Like I'll get some here and there, but like obviously hanging out with Steve, like people like start freaking out. Like they're like, oh my God. So like they just have a different aura when it comes to golf than I do. But I'm like getting more into the golf world instead of just like the bop zone, you know?
Yeah.
Moving away from just bop central to like a little bit more golf.
What is bop? I have no idea what bop is.
Oh gosh, like just using your body for clout and like,
Oh, okay.
you know, yeah, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay, sure. Yeah, I didn't know. I was thinking like bop it. Like, do you remember those things? The,
Yeah,
like,
I know what
pop
you're
it,
talking about.
like,
Yeah,
twist it, pop it. Yeah, those things.
yeah,
It's a '90s kid reference. But you were talking a little bit about platforms and kind of the issues you had with. I think TikTok. You said was the first in getting accounts banned and all that. Like, what has there been an evolution in that over the years? Because I feel like, you know, there's more creators like you, I guess, that have kind of come up and like seemingly found a bit more steadiness in these platforms. Whereas before, you'd always see like my second account, my backup account, this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
Has that changed much over the years?
It definitely has. Like at the very beginning, you'd always get like your content's removed or it violates the community guidelines. Worst thing ever. Or your account's banned. Now it's like you can post something like doesn't follow the guidelines and they'll just like not push it on the For You page. Like I've noticed that. They're just like, this one cannot be pushed. It violates guidelines or something. I was like, oh, okay. So then I just archive it. It'll get like 1,000 views maybe. And those are the people that follow you. But it won't get pushed. And like, I just think the TikTok algorithm is just like way different now. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I went through my TikTok phase. I'm moving on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No.
Have there been like platforms that have been better for you than others? Like I know you say you're moving on from TikTok, but like if you compare, like X, for example, now is like, I think you can do like whatever you want on there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, like they're all have their like ups and downs. You know, I love like I'm indifferent because I just love reels. I'm big on scrolling reels, commenting. So I love Instagram. I do scroll TikTok too, but like I've never been into like X or Twitter. But I post every day and sometimes it does really well and sometimes it doesn't. But you just try to be active on everything, which like I'm in bed every morning for a couple hours just like posting and like editing and stuff. So
interesting. I was about to ask, what is kind of like take me through like a day in your life? I feel like that'd be pretty interesting. Like if you could give us like an average day.
Like I wake up normally and I just like pick out what I want to post and then I usually edit right before bed and like think about like, okay, do I want to post this or like have options for the next morning? And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to post this and maybe a photo or like here. And then I just cross post everything. So, but you know, these are my secrets.
Yeah. No, you're good.
A while. It takes me like an hour in the morning just to like go through and sort. And it's just like being consistent it's a lot of work sometimes.
So what follows that though? Like if we go through like a full day, like so you have like an hour of content. Yeah, keep going. Give me like a full day.
Normal day, if I'm just in my house, like I'll post, I'll go make my smoothie. I have like a protein shake every morning. And then
do you do like macros or anything like that?
I don't. Like I just kind of like it's more about just like feeling it out. Like I'm like, okay, I definitely want more protein in my life, but like 'cause I love pasta, I love carbs. So I'm like, okay, let's balance it out with some protein. But I have my protein shake in the morning and then I'll usually just like either get some work done on the computer or I'll like clean my closet or something or like clean something or organize stuff because there's always like hard drives or something. So work for a couple hours and then around like 1 or 2 I'll go play golf or like go hit balls depending on how hot it is. Like yesterday 106 I was like, well, I'm gonna stay inside until like 3 or 4. But I went to the gym, which is like indoor and cooled. And then I went and played golf. I was like, okay, this is manageable. But 106, like I'm going to pass out if I go any earlier. Like, one of my goals is actually like getting up earlier so that I can beat the heat. Like if I can get up to like 6, I could probably go hit balls earlier and not die. But that's hard for me.
I remember our trip to Texas. It was insane. Like you went out between the hours of like 10 and 8 p.m. I couldn't handle it. Like it was. I think it's very similar to my day in a way. Like I had to get most of my content done in the morning, but then you kind of have the afternoon. And like I don't know if I'm curious to know. Like I kind of just like I always say to people, I like treat golf as a profession, even though it's not, because like I have the time and like it does tie into my content. And so yeah, I literally like I train every day. I do like an hour of mobility.
Yeah.
I'm lifting. I'm eating clean. Like, do you kind of get to do and choose to do the same thing? Because I know probably you have, you know, the option
Yeah.
as well.
I think it's like at the point where it's like, okay, I guess golf is like serious now. You know, like I'm actually
Hmm.
trying to get better, working out and doing all that stuff. So I was like, I guess. I mean, I don't, what else is there to do? You know, I can go. Sometimes I'll go film the videos, which takes like it's like an all day thing, and prepping for that is like, you know, usually I'll have to prep, you know, the night before, charging everything. But yeah, just being in contact with everyone, like for film, for like, you know, collabs or filmers that I need to come on set and stuff. But yeah, it's like a full lifestyle at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of like preface it for myself as like a why not right now. Like I'm, you know, in my 20s still. I have the time, the opportunity. I'm never again in my life gonna have this. Like I grew up playing every sport in the book. I'm pretty decent at golf, so it's like, why wouldn't I take advantage of this?
Yeah.
But I don't, and you know, it's kind of like a what will come will come. Like I started playing competitively this summer. I play in local amateur events, but you know, I'm not like sitting here being like I'm trying to do this necessarily. I
Hmm.
just like I'm putting in the work and I'm going to see what comes from it. Do you have any type of like specific golf goals you're trying to achieve?
I mean, I would love to be good enough to like even try and compete. So, like getting my numbers down is probably there. I mean, I've been just kind of like cleaning up my swing recently. Like sometimes I'm more into the swing game and versus the playing game. I've always been into
Hmm.
like, the swing, like getting my swing better, and making it more natural looking. But like, you know, getting into playing with friends, like actually trying to score is like it's gotten a lot better in the last year. So like doing both those is kind of switching on and off. Like the range is like the swing, and then I go play and I try to like drop that mindset of like not having to think about your swing and just swinging and hitting the ball. It's like different for me. So I'm kind of like learning all that right now.
Totally. You were mentioning doing more filming, doing more on YouTube.
Hmm.
Why did you decide to kind of start posting? Because that was something I think that kind of connected us at first. Like I talked about it in a video how you're
Yeah.
kind of posting more like legit YouTube content now. And I thought that was cool. Why the decision to kind of go into that space and try to pursue that? And kind of what are your goals there, I guess?
I think why was that like I think I was kind of getting bored with like my own style of content of just like the slow-mos. I think on a person in my personal life, like I was just into the game of golf. Like I'm already playing a lot and like going to the range and like doing these cool golf things. Like I should probably be making content out of it. And you meet a lot of new cool people doing that. So I was like, okay, let's try this. But I kept getting like pushed off. Like I was like, there's so many other channels out there. Like I don't know how to do this. Like I don't know the style I want. I don't even know what kind of videos I want to make. Like I don't even think I'm gonna get views. Like there's obviously all that goes on in your head. But like, I had some good people in my life just like, oh, just do it. Just post anything. Like I was like, okay. And then I started with like the handicap because I was like, okay, let me actually like get a handicap for once. So it's helping me. It's kind of like a diary almost for me. Like I treat it as that, where it's like I want to get better at golf, and then it's just keeping me like on a schedule. Like you have to like play golf once a week and like film it, and then see how you score and stuff. So I think it's gonna help me grow my golf game, which is partially why I started it, and also just to like make more content too, a different style of content. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, there definitely aren't very many female golf channels out there, right? Like it's very, especially doing it in this way. So I think it is interesting. I think, you know, for the space, it's very neat. And I think it's something that there's a space for, if that makes sense. Like there's a
Okay.
lot of channels, but
Yeah.
95% of them are dudes. So it's definitely, you know, even just the fact that you're posting golf content as a female is like, that's something different. You know what I mean? And then, you know, if you can find your own little niches within, what are some of the things that you've kind of been like identified as like, I enjoy making YouTube videos about this, and maybe things where you're like, this side of it or this type of content I'm not super into.
I mean, I definitely like to get out there and just play golf and like put effort out to like get dressed and go to the range and actually like try and score. I think the filming side of it sometimes gets frustrating, like when the audio's not right or like the camera's not like working properly and I don't know how to function that because I'm like, well, gosh, now I have to go learn how to like function this camera or like how to work it. And so like, but I think it honestly like makes your network a little bit bigger. So I have to reach out to certain people. I'm like, hey, do you know how to like fix this? Or what could I do better to like fix, like make this better and stuff. So just kind of going through that. It's like an annoying process, but it's also something I kind of enjoy too, because it like, it's fun to like make content in general. Like I enjoy producing videos and stuff and editing. I don't edit my YouTube videos, but I do put in some notes and things, and I'm like, okay, you can do this, or add some sound effects or music, and it's interesting to like learn it all. I don't know. Does that answer your question? I feel like that's kind of
Totally. Yeah, no, totally. I would say that it's even an early question for you because you're still figuring it out. I mean, you're what, like 10 long form videos in? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I've posted like 1,700. So, it's like I can tell you from experience, you definitely learn as you go. Yeah. What does your team look like though? You mentioned an editor. Do you have like a dedicated filmer, or is it the same person and, all that?
I got a couple different filmers right now. I kind of just use, based on their schedules and stuff. Like whoever, like locally, or if we're traveling, different guy, or if I'm in a certain zone. Like if I'm back home, I'm like, oh, I have some friends out in California. I was like, well, you should come shoot for me, so I kind of switch it up, different styles of filming and stuff. I kind of enjoy to just see and shop around, because I'm not like completely sold on one person at this moment, but yeah, I guess just kind of like bouncing around, still figuring out my content. And I mean, I have one editor, so a couple different options for filmers. I've got an editor that I like a lot, and then I usually do the cover photos, like whatever you call it, the thumbnails. I'm so specific on my thumbnail, like
you should be.
Still, I'm like messing around with text and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this or not. Like it's definitely like a style choice, and I'm not 100% sold on it, but it's getting better.
Totally. It's trial and error, man. That's my world right there. So you ever need help with that, I got you. But it's very. Do you have for the short form stuff? That's all you. You don't have any interest, or haven't had any interest in like kind of farming that out to anyone over the years?
I've definitely had interest in like what do you call it? Like I guess it is farming. Like if you took the YouTube videos and cut them into shorts, I usually just do that myself. I'm definitely like looking. I just haven't found a style that's like repeatable yet. And so like once I find the style that I like a lot, then I'll just like send it to someone and be like, yo, can you just chop this up similar to this in this style, this length and stuff. But yeah, I mean mostly it's me just doing short form. I think it's like a personal thing, so like I'm like, like you have to like make it look right. And I just think a lot of people don't have that personal investment in the content they make, or some people do, some people don't, but it's like when you start farming it out, I feel like it loses that continuity. So until I find someone that's like as invested as I am, then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it.
Totally. One of the hardest things to do as a creator is to let go of any of that creative control, and to like, we all feel like we have this thing that we do that, not necessarily nobody else can, but like, it's tough to get someone to replicate, and that's facts, like it is. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that, if you can free yourself up to be able to put your time into other things that nobody else can do, which is pretty much just like be on camera, it can be helpful there. But I think you're still super early in the journey. Do you have any, I mean, again, YouTube's new, but does it appeal to you more than the short form, less, same? Like, is there kind of like a one you're still over the other?
I mean, I love short form. Like I'm a short form creator, but like I do love the long form for sure. And I've like this last week, I think I shot, or last 2 weeks is like 4 videos. Like I'm like very excited about it. And I'm kind of turning that into the short form content where it's like you cut it down and make a reel and stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of like still figuring that out if I like it more than short form. I think it's could be more interesting. I just haven't gotten to a point where it's like, okay, it for sure is like better now. But short form always hits. Like it's freaking, it's sick. You make a cool edit and it's like, okay, that's dope. Like I love that.
The virality potential is definitely a lot higher with short form.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Do you feel like
always nice to like? It's always nice to pop off, a couple views that have never hurt nobody.
Totally. Do you feel like, or have you always felt sort of creative, or like a creative? Like, do you pursue it in that way, or is it something you fell into because you were just like, oh, this is a business for me that's working, let me learn this side of it?
Man, I don't know. I think it was like the business where it just is like, this is what you have to do to kind of be in this space. But I've learned to love it a lot. So it's like, I don't know if I would do the same. I guess I was doing like little videos, for school and stuff, and I was really into it. But at this level of doing it every day, it's like I don't know if I'd be here if there wasn't some kind of outcome or something. But because there's days where I'm like, I don't want to edit. I don't even want to like look at this footage. But I'm like, if I don't do it, like no one else is gonna do it. So um, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I feel like it's interesting because I feel like I mean, I've only been following the YouTube golf space for, I guess
Yeah.
like 2, 3 years now. And I've seen your content evolve a little bit, but one of the things I think I've noticed is like more involvement outside of your own content, whether it be like in other people's content, like you were at the Open this year. Like I almost feel
Yeah.
like you're kind of like, I feel like again, like we talked about the platforms evolving to even just allow the more like bot content. That's my new word of the day. I appreciate you telling me
Yeah.
that.
Gotcha.
Bot content. It's a good way to be able to describe it. But the platforms have evolved, but I feel like almost even like companies and brands and like other things maybe are offering more involvement than they would have in the past. Is that true? And have you kind of felt that?
Um, yes, and yeah, for sure. Like what do you mean, like sponsors or something, or what do you
A
mean?
whole mix, like sponsors, like again, just like getting invited, like a lot of creators get invited to waste management, get invited to this, get
Yeah.
invited to that, like even just like collabs with other channels. Like I feel like that stuff wasn't as popular before, or wasn't as commonplace, I guess, and now is becoming more so.
I think in the golf space, like collabs are really blowing up this year for sure. Like last year, it wasn't really as big, so I mean, I was doing a couple collabs, but it's not like I've definitely hit more collabs this year than any other year. But I think it just depends. Like if you look on like the TikTokers, like the Hype House kids, like they were all collabing way back. So it's just kind of like I feel like it just kind of hit the golf space, and we're starting to see like people actually wanting to do that too because I mean, it's cool. It's awesome to meet new people and stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Totally. Do you feel like, does it get frustrating sometimes with the sponsorship side of it? Like if you're, because like someone of your size, obviously that's a
Yeah.
ton of followers, yeah, but you don't obviously post as much sponsored content as a lot of other people
Yeah.
with that. And I'm assuming it's just due to the nature of the content. But
Mhm.
does that get frustrating, or does the business benefits of what you're able to do with the more private content and all that totally
Yeah.
outweigh it, and you just don't even care?
I mean, I don't necessarily care right now, but I mean, it would be nice to like work with people, like more people, but I'm picky on brands too, because I gotta like what they actually like produce and stuff. And it's like I
Hmm.
think the style of people that come to me right now with the content I have is like not necessarily someone I'd want to promote and stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, and I think when you start like doing brand deals and like pushing it hard, like making a post and be like, oh, like, buy their stuff or like I don't know, it loses like continuity to it. So I'm definitely careful about it. Like, just selective about who I partner with and stuff, which I don't think is a bad thing.
No, I mean, I think you're in a situation now where you're just your own boss. You don't have to really answer to anyone, and you can,
Yeah.
totally do what you want, and you don't have any repercussions. So, like, I don't think it's necessarily something you even need to do. I was just curious, because it is estranged from other creators a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things I'd like to ask about though is Corinna and your relationship with her, because
Oh
she
yeah.
obviously had a bit of a entrance into the YouTube golf space with
Mhm.
Garrett, but I knew her from the Vlog Squad and like way back, and she's definitely been like someone I thought was really cool because she's maintained so much hype around her in all these different ways, and kind of she was in the Vlog Squad, now she's into gaming, starting to get into golf, like she's kind of been in all these different spaces. How did you get connected with her, and what have you guys maybe chatted about, and what have you learned from her? Because I feel like she's kind of
Yeah.
like an OG almost in the space.
Yeah, no, totally. It's funny you brought that up because like in your last video, the one that I found you from, you like mentioned her
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, I didn't realize like, it was cool like that. But I met her through Garrett. Like we did like a 2v2 on his channel or something.
Hmm.
Don't watch that video. I played terribly. My gosh, but I did meet her through that. She was cool. We talked about horses. I think I met her again. Like we went out later that day or something, and I don't know. But we've been connected for like a year and stuff. But we just shot another 2v2 video on my channel. Hasn't come out yet, but it's coming out like last week. We shot it though, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Like she likes to golf. I think she hasn't been golfing a lot recently, but I'm like, okay, like I'm right here. We're gonna get you back into golf because I think having her in the golf space is a good thing as well. Like you were saying, like it's growing the game, especially with females, you know. So I'm stoked that she's still down to play and open to collab and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to just keep getting her in like keep collabing with her, which I think she's down for.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, what I said in that video you're referencing is like because she's come from outside of our space with such a big audience, anytime that can happen and that person is like genuinely invested, like Bryson is even an example. Like, yes, he's in golf, but like people don't realize there is a division between pro golf fans and YouTube golf fans. There are so many people who watch pro golf day in and day out, whether it's Live or PGA Tour, who've never seen a YouTube golf video. And Bryson is now bridging that gap where people are coming to YouTube golf, they watch his Trump video, and then they get recommended a Grant video, a Garrett video, whatever. That grows our audience. It's the same thing with Corinna. Like, she comes in with all of these people who are just like YouTube fans, like, you know, Vlog Squad, whatever, and it definitely brings attention in. So I'm stoked about it. I'm the YouTube golf guy. I want more YouTube golf.
Yeah, I think that's what you're saying about the collabs is like, I feel like the people, I collab with like Two Turnt Tony of like, I made him come golf with me. I'm like, it's such a like outside, like he's not even in the golf world at all, but I was like, I mean, he's relatable, he's great. And I think bringing him in is also growing the game too. So branching out with the collabs to not just like golf people, I think might be a good thing. It might be a disaster as well. Like, playing with someone who doesn't normally play golf is like, they could be completely terrible, but you know, just throw them in a scramble and then we're good.
Yeah, no, I think it's like, you know, if you can get an initial pump, I mean, the Trump situation is like the perfect scenario where you have someone who's incredibly famous and also good at golf. But you know, you can't get that every time. Sometimes it is going to be someone who's not good, but I think ultimately, like, yeah, it's just getting eyeballs on it because some of their viewers guaranteed are going to be golfers who don't know YouTube golf. And then even if they just see one video, it could be enough to kind of like push them into the space, you know?
No, exactly. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've struggled with social media? I ask creators this all the time because it's definitely something that, you know, as I've come up in it and whatever, you take a lot of the good, but you also take it with a lot of the bad, and you have to learn how to mentally deal with a lot of that stuff. Is there anything kind of that stood out to you over the years that you've had to learn to kind of deal and cope with?
Yeah, I mean, like, first things that comes to mind is like the hate comments, which is like, I mean, it's easy. Like, you just don't read them or you just don't really pay attention. But I mean, at the back of your head, you're like, oh, I mean, do I have to fix my swing or like, am I not good enough? I don't know. They don't really bother me. I think, what else was it? There's something else I was going to say. Like, oh yeah, like being addicted to my phone, like straight up, like I'm on my phone way too much, which I think like, literally at a personal level, I'm like, okay, like put the phone down. So I think that comes with just being like a content creator. I can't, like some of the people that are on TikTok, like super famous on TikTok, and they post like 6 times a day. I'm like, there's no way you're not scrolling for like 4 hours finding those trends and then getting dressed and like making them on your phone. Like that's like an all day process, like make stuff. So I'm like, I mean, I don't know if I'm healthy, like it's like a healthy addiction to my phone. Probably not, because my attention span is like pretty short now, but it just is what it is. So I'm not actively trying to change that, because I still want to, you know, do what I do, but maybe just cutting back a couple hours, only scrolling a little bit before bed.
Yeah. Well, totally. I think it's hard for us because we see it as our job, which it is on some level. But one thing I've tried to practice is like, I have an office now that's, you know, still being put together, but I have an office now. We just moved into it. But I'm trying very much to like have work happen in here, but not anywhere else. So like, even if it's like, yeah, it is. But like, you know, I think posting and ghosting can kind of be a good thing sometimes, you know, because it's like, then you don't see a lot of the negative stuff, and you also don't over obsess about things you can't really change. But then it also helps me to be like, you know, if I come back in, like I'm zoned in, I'm focused. I'm like, all right, let's look at the stats. Let's look at the analytics. Let's see how this video is doing. Do I need to change the thumbnail? Let's think about it. And then when I leave, I can be confident, you know, that I kind of got what I needed to get done. But it's definitely tough because it's like that constant prick in your brain that we all as humans have because of phones. But I think us as creators have even more, because like if a normal person posts something or looks at Instagram, most of the time they're going to get, you know, 20 likes and 2 comments, and they look at Instagram and nothing's related to them. But you and I, we can open up our phones and there can be a whole conversation going on about us or something like that we could, maybe want to know about. And then there's also much more engagement that comes and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it almost heightens that desire. But with that desire comes things like anxiety. Like, have you ever felt any any issues with that in the last few years, which, in large part could be from the content stuff?
For sure. Definitely. 100%. I'm always like, because I think I've been banned so many times, like starting off, like it's definitely in my head. I'm like, is this okay? Like I'm a little bit worried when I push the boundaries sometimes, but I don't think like anxiety wise, like not really like anymore. It's gotten better for sure. I think I'm usually chill about it, but I'm always like, you just never know. And like, oh my God, I'm losing followers. Like I'm freaking out. Like it's definitely separating personal and business is like, because it's a very personal business. Like what I do is very personal. So it's like, where's that line? Like where's the line between my personal life and like what I do? Especially being on Snapchat. Like I'm on Snap 24/7 posting and like interacting with people. So it's like my personal life's like out there, so.
Totally. That's actually an interesting one I'd love to ask about, because Snapchat is still for me, like Snapchat came around when I was in like high school. And I thought it disappeared. I thought it was gone. And then all of a sudden people were like, follow me on Snap. And I'm like, what's happening right now? But because they've introduced sort of like a members page, I guess, right? Like a sort of like a paid side of it, or is it like all, but there is some sort of earning potential for top creators.
Yeah, no, right? There is. It's like ads through your story mostly.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. More ad based. How's that in, like, obviously not numbers, but like in revenue then for you compared? Because like that from what I've heard, that is a huge platform for a lot of people, right?
No, it's definitely they pay well right now. So
okay, great.
Yeah. I'm not like super big on YouTube, so like I don't think like shorts earning on YouTube, the RPM's like not even close to what Snapchat can produce in a day. So it's like no. So Snap's definitely up there. I like it a lot.
Yeah, very cool. Do you find sometimes having to draw a line though for yourself of like, okay, like this is personal, I want to keep this personal, versus like shit? Because I feel like once Snap to me feels more like vlogging, and when I vlogged in the past, I would find myself being like, holy crap, like I'm leaving nothing like for myself here. Like everything is becoming content. Have you kind of had to draw hard lines with yourself with that?
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely like things that I don't talk about or like be very specific about, so but like I can't share them, so it's, you know what I mean, like there's definitely things I draw a line to and like try to keep private, but other than those, like I'm pretty open, so I try to be, at least.
Yeah, totally. What is your content like on Snap? Because I've never seen it. Is it more vloggy style, like lifestyle stuff, or more pop stuff, or a whole mix? Or
it's kind of just like day in the life, like my cats, me golfing, playing golf, hitting shots, talking to the camera about whatever, fitness photos, thirst traps. You get a whole mix of everything. And then obviously I respond to comments, so I'll like talk to people. I'll like so you can like comment. You swipe up on a Snap and then like type something, whatever. Okay. And I'll look at those and like I'll be like, oh, yo, what's up? Like, I love you, Mark. Like, I'll respond and stuff, which it's pretty genuine. If they're like, help me with my slice, I'm like, okay, here's 2 tips that I would give you. Sometimes I'm giving advice on the I bet, but
totally. Yeah. Have you ever thought about? Do you have a Cameo? Have you ever thought about doing that? I feel like that's another way creators make a ton of money.
I did it for a little bit, and I just like, I don't know. It was too much work. Like I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know. Like it's a great platform. The requests were weird. Some of them were weird, and then others were like, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have to get ready too often and do it. I don't know. It's just it didn't fit me. I'm more of like I have like a routine I do. So I'm like, okay, like this is like out of the routine. I can't like. I'm so apprehensive when I try new things, and then I'm like, okay, it's fine, but either it works or it doesn't, or I just have to like move on.
Totally. Well, I mean, we have to fail forward all the time as creators. Like you try something, you learn from the failures, and the interesting side of it is that we have to publicly fail. A lot of people in their pursuits, whether it be work or whatever, you do it and then nobody really has to know about it, maybe besides your spouse, but like it's pretty obvious when we fail as creators because you can just see the metrics. Like the videos don't do as well, it's something different. But I think over time you learn to wear that and just be like, well, this is part of it, and it's good. It's good when something fails because you can kind of like evaluate it, and you can learn really valuable stuff from it, whether it be a platform or a piece of content or whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. Especially like this is weird to bring up, but like Micah shooting his 86 that like at his first tournament or something, like that was tough for him mentally. Super nice guy, came right up to me, like said hi and stuff. So, but I mean, now he's shooting like in the 60s, right? Like he's doing good in competitions. But like that first one, I was like, people were giving him shit for shooting 86 or I don't, was it 86 or 82 or something? But that's tough. That's like that's just what it is though. Like if you're gonna be in the golf space, like actually trying to compete, like you're gonna get made fun of. Like I'll probably get made fun of too. Just it's just like what it is. Like you set up and brush it off and like keep moving.
Totally. What would you say content wise going forward? Is there anything that you're like, I really love to like do this, reach for this, like whether it's on YouTube, short, whatever, or like, you know, a collaboration you really want? Is there anything kind of you're like really working or striving towards right now?
I mean, the only thing is the Break 80 series I'm filming. So like Breaking 80, that's like the only thing I've got going that I really enjoy. I mean, I'm trying different styles. Like I shot a Break 50 with Dylan Block 2 weeks ago. Like that was fun. Never done that before. You know, he gave me a golf lesson. Like I'm just trying a bunch of random things until I find like something I really like a type of video I really enjoy and can have like a series kind of going. Because once you break 80, it's like, okay, like we're gonna be
What
in the
now?
yeah, we're gonna be in the high 70s for a while before we break 70. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, totally. Sweet. Well, I love that, Grace. I appreciate you coming on the channel. I really, I felt like it was an interesting conversation to have, to talk about, you know, the background a little bit and how you got into this stuff. But it's definitely, you know, you coming into the golf space and the YouTube golf space specifically is definitely, you know, a journey I'm excited to follow. So thanks for coming on and sharing some of your insights.
Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure talking to you. So yeah.
Sweet.